Hello guys, welcome again to another session with me. How's everyone? Monday, I think Monday blues in markets, Monday blues at work. I hope everyone is doing fine. But what's happening in markets is quite interesting, right? So we did see a very good fall this morning, but then we kind of completely recovered, and we kind of had a doji today, right? Now that did show that there is, some short-term support at least. But I want to dive into some things, that today some people are saying that we might hit, again, all-time highs this month, and there's a lot of predictions going on around, right? So I want to dive into some of those things before we, look into other things. But before that, yeah, just let me know if you can hear me and see me and hear me and see me well. And yeah, Suman says Congo for monetization. I don't know how you came to know that, but yeah, thank you. And yeah, definitely we've now crossed 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So that means monetization starts, but it's going to be very small, right? It's tiny little drops probably. But I hope everyone is keeping your risk in check and playing according to what we've learned all these days in markets. Okay, so let's look at Nifty first, and I want to just say some things before we dive. So I'm going to use past data. I'm going to tell you why that we might go into consolidation. If we don't fall, at least I see that we're going to go into consolidation for some time, and the reason is because this is a long we've fallen quite far, and I don't think we'll recover directly and head back towards all-time high in the next 1 month or so. The reason is because we've fallen so much and we are quite far away from this bearish trend line, right? So that's a downward trend line, and anytime we come anytime there's a bearish trend line, it might take some time before we head higher, we drop again, we head higher, drop again, and then we're going to probably break. Now we've seen this past as well, right? So let's take this example here. Back in Feb, also when people are calling the market is topped out and all that. Now if we just connect that point and that point, right, so we had a similar kind of a point there, and if you see we had a similar point there, right? Now if you extend that point down, and if you extend this point also, right, just extend that, now you'd see that after that move down, we kind of took almost March, April, May, right, almost 3 months before we kind of broke out and headed higher again. Now I'm not saying we'll take 3 months here again, but what I'm saying is that we might take some time before we head higher, and markets can continue to remain sideways, can go sideways, and can continue to do or correct also going forward. But also what I want to talk about today is that Nifty small cap, right? So if you see, Nifty small cap has broken a very important trend line there, right, and we've kind of made a new low in the Nifty small cap. Now that's something really bad for at least these small cap indices, right? So if you are really looking for good returns going forward in small cap indices or in the mid cap indices, then that's something that I would not really expect, because not every stock, at least maybe there will be always some stocks which might do well, but for me, looking at this chart here, that's an inverted head and shoulders, sorry, a top head and shoulders breakdown, and we've also made a new swing low, right? So that's one of the reasons why I would not be gung-ho on the markets going forward. Probably not every stock will rise, but there will always be pockets of strength, as I always say, and you need to focus on them, and you need to try to identify those pockets of strength and try to buy those pockets of strength. Also looking at mid cap. Okay, I'm just going to look at a few sectors. Mid cap also has kind of broken. I'm going to remove all of this, right? So mid cap also has broken a key swing low, right? So we had a gap down. Unlike Nifty, this has closed below the yesterday's low, right? Now that's really again a tiny left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder. Now some might say it's not equal. I don't give a damn about all that. But all I want to understand is, have we made a swing lower high and lower low? Definitely we made a lower low and we made a lower high. Now that definitely calls for some short-term consolidation in the small cap and mid cap indices, right? And even if we were to break this and again go higher, it's going to take quite some time, because that trend line needs to be taken out. And now that's something we're seeing such kind of a downtrend the first time in the last 1.5 years. So don't really go bullish. Don't think that every reversal would play back. So I'm just taking a look at even metals. So metals, the last we've also broken a key support there, but metals are still yet to break the weekly swing low, right? So that's the weekly swing low that I'm looking at, and until we don't break there, until we don't go below the trend line, metals are still safe. But for me, as I said, I've told this in Discord, I've told this multiple times. I'm not sure to everyone or not who was here, but definitely pharma is the space that I want to be in, because pharma is kind of showing strength, while today it corrected obviously 1%, but pharma is one place that I would be really interested in. And definitely this is yet to make a higher high, and we need to cross that point. Now if we cross that point, that's probably a short-term inverted head and shoulders bottom, right? So we formed a left head, right? So left shoulder. So this is probably the head, and we might fall the right shoulder and break out and head higher. So pharma is definitely one of the spaces to watch out for. And if you want to know about any sectors, let me know. We can look at it. But definitely, IT also looks good, for now. So IT is still not breaking below that support zone, right? So definitely mid cap and small cap, not everything is going to perform going forward, and that's going to be a very key challenge, right, going forward, because we've seen such easy money in the last 1.5 years. And I know everyone is talking about the same thing, but I also want to iterate the same thing, that it's not going to be easy money, and we will continue with our trade retail investor. I've taken some positions in the last couple of days: MOREPEN, THYROCARE, and Friday, MOREPEN, THYROCARE, and PFIZER. Yes, I've taken all 3 positions, and I'm holding it in my trade retail investor portfolio. I'll update the sheet today, definitely. Sorry, I've been very busy of late, and that's the reason I'm not updated. But IT also might look bad if we close below this. Okay, but otherwise, let's take a look at Nifty again, just to see our view for tomorrow, right? So for short term, definitely we made a bottom kind of thing, but for me, that resistance that I'd be watching out for is that horizontal resistance around 17,160. So if you're able to take out 17,160, then probably we can go and fill that gap around 17,500, but that's still a long way. So that's the bearish trend line that we're talking about, right? So I see every chance for Nifty to head back towards the trend line around 17,900, 18,000 levels as well, but that's going to be a very strong resistance for Nifty to take out, right? So one major resistance is that point, okay, and that's the zone that you want to be watching out for. In case Nifty heads to this zone, then probably we might see some resistance around that zone, and then probably we might head again down. Okay, otherwise, yeah, that's my view. And for tomorrow, I think if markets kind of reverse tomorrow, like all the markets are green, so hopefully we reverse and head higher again. But the if you're looking for longs, then keep your stop loss around that and swing low, which is on 69.70 odd, and you can go long, conservative, go long only above 17,160, above that line. Until then, you can look for shorting opportunities as well, but the stop loss is this zone, right? So this is the zone that you want to be watching out for. Below this, you can go short. Above that, you can go long, or you can go long even right now with a stop around 69.70. But just a caution, do not carry overnight positions. It's a really volatile market. You might see gap ups, gap downs. Now you can see that moves, right? So if you just plot the ATR, you will see how the ATR average true range has changed in the last couple of days, right? So this has spiked, right? So the moves have literally gone higher. So volatility has increased, and which means if you're holding a call or a put and next day market opens the other direction, we can see a good 0.5%, 1% gap down, and markets might continue to be weak. So definitely we are seeing some heights of volatility. So okay, be careful, trade cautiously. Markets are always going to be there. Don't lose your money and try to be safe. Okay, so that's all I have to say for today. Okay, so let's look at your questions. Piyush already had some questions before we started. Burger King. See, Piyush, you've been with me for some time, right? Now, if you're holding some stocks, I've seen your names quite some time on the channel. That's why I'm saying, if you are holding some stocks, please know your exit point. It's very important, and I'm going to have a lot of such questions going forward. But definitely for me, Burger India looks weak. I would definitely exit at this point. I'm not sure if it will continue to go down or if it will continue to head higher, but definitely looking at today's candle, it has broken some key swing lows, right? So that's a major swing low on the weekly charts. I'm just going to remove this just to give you a better picture, right? So if you put on the weekly charts, that's definitely a strong support, right? That Burger King was trying to hold, and today we kind of broken that support and it's kind of heading lower. So try to exit at this point. Probably there are so many other stocks like MOREPEN, THYROCARE, PFIZER, AstraZeneca. There are many stocks. Try to look at them. And don't be in hope, because once your losses become bigger, it's really difficult to get out of it, and small losses pile up and they snowball into big losses. So don't get stuck, please, and try to exit and save your money. Market's always there, so there will be stocks for you, opportunities for you. So come back and try to enter again. So MOREPEN definitely looks fine. I don't look at short-term supports. Yeah, 54 is a resistance. What he's saying is totally right, but for me it has kind of broken out from that zone. I am looking for some upsides now in MOREPEN. Volumes have been excellent last 2 days. Moves have been good. In spite of a weak market, is doing well, right? Now, all it has to do is, there is just a resistance around 54 levels, 54.8. Again here 54.7, right? So it needs to cross 55 and then we can see some good moves. I don't rule out a consolidation here. So keep your stop loss around 46.5 or 46. and that's again a major support zone. And I see every chance that MOREPEN can do well going forward. Okay, if it holds 46, obviously. So that's my take. HUL, should you start buying bulk? You need to understand what you're doing. That's all. See, definitely it's at a very good support zone. We are around a trend line support there, and we are on a major weekly support. So if it goes below 2300, then definitely you can start looking for some accumulation. Then if it 2300 below, then it can go all the way to 2000. But given that these are large cap stocks, they don't really fall that much, right? So even during the COVID crash, if you observed, it didn't really fall much. The entire volatility from the top to the bottom was just 20%, right? So if you're able to withstand 25% correction, go ahead and buy. Even now it's a good candle today. It has reversed from a key support zone. Or if you want to keep a stop loss on 2300, it's just a 1% stop loss, right? 1% stop. See how much you can risk and take it and buy if possible. Okay, or you can go on sip mode as well if you want. Exide, good level to buy. Yeah, so Exide, I think I posted this chart some time back, right? So definitely, I think it's time to consider Exide, because since 2010 it has been going in sideways correction, right? Now this is an excellent company, right? From the battery space, or from the whichever segment you're operating, right? So definitely this looks for me a good buy. So if you're able to hold on to the stop loss of 124, so that's definitely a swing low that I'm seeing here on the monthly charts, right? So if it can hold on to 124, if you're able to withstand that, you can buy ahead right now. Or what you could simply do is just buy above 210 levels, right? Once it crosses that, so it's probably forming inverted head and shoulders there, and if it crosses 210, definitely it's worth considering. But at this point, definitely for me, Exide is worth looking at. It might do well going forward. Okay, the reason I'm saying is because of this channel, right? So I'm looking at the channel. It's a very long consolidation, almost 11-year consolidation, and if it can hold on to that support which I discussed, then it's good. Which is around even this, if you can keep a stop even around 155 if you want, but safer stop loss would be around 124, right? If you can hold on to that, then it can definitely do well going forward. Okay, so that's my take. Hey Suman, hey Prakash. Alchem Labs. There are some pharma stocks which are doing well, but they've still not formed higher lows. Right now, the same thing for me is with Alchem Labs. Alchem Labs is still not formed a higher low, even though it has reversed, is doing well. I definitely take a bet if you want to. Keep a stop loss around 3,200, and you can go ahead and buy this. But once it forms a higher low, then definitely it's worth considering or adding more. Okay, so also maybe it is kind of reversing, and last weekly candle was a good weekly candle. That's the reason I'm saying you can probably afford, go ahead and take a bet on this. Okay, so that's my take on Alchem Labs. Dinesh, I think I've answered this question quite a lot, right? About whether you should consider closing bases, whether you should be aggressive, whether you should keep tight stop loss, whether you should keep loose stop loss. The problem that most of us would have in this kind of environment is, seeing that stop loss hit and then it's going again higher, right? So that's a good recovery today that's happened, but it is up to you. You need to decide what you want to do. So as I always say, see how much you lose in case if it closes 20% down. Let's say today was a really bad market, and if it closed really below 5,500, then would you really be able to take that loss? And next day, if it opened gap down, will you be able to really take that loss? See, it's better to save your money rather than whining about unrealized profits. It's good that you booked your stop loss here. For me, I would do that any day rather than just waiting for a closing. And if I have a big position, if I have 5% position size, I'll not be worried at all. I'll wait for a closing. But if it's a 20% position size, a 25% position size, or 40% position size, which I have right now in MOREPEN, then I'm definitely going to consider exiting right when the stop loss hits. Okay, I've answered this multiple times, and I hope people who have been with me for some time understand this and stick to some strategy. That's only way you could probably save yourself. Okay, Nifty consumption. Let's look at it. I'm sorry, I took the lost. Yeah. So again, it's forming lower high low. It's broken a major trend line, right? So as I said, now stop looking at indices and probably start looking at stocks, because not every stock is going to perform going forward. So you need to be very stock specific and try to find your stocks which will do well. Going forward, I think even though the sector might do well, some of the sectors might do well, not all stocks might not do well in that sector. So be very stock specific. And here also I see that it has broken down and starting to turn down. So we might see again some consolidation, before this again heads higher. I'm sorry, I'm looking at commodities. I'm really sorry. I should look at consumption, right? Yeah, so consumption again, it's around a major support zone, but the view still remains the same. The concept that I spoke about just now remains the same. Until we don't close below that, it's totally fine. But as I said, look for stock specific opportunities. We might see some consolidation again here, and before which this can again head higher. But all the charts are showing the same thing. Okay, so there's nothing different. Yeah, Abhilash, I think there is a problem with charting. So not always you will get all stocks, but let's take a look at what you're talking about. Right, so Polymedicure is this one. Let's take a look at CCI 34. Right, so ideally it should show this week, right? So CCI 34, it's crossing this week. It's not crossing last week. Last week was -8. This week is when you should be seeing CCI. You should find Polymedicure in the scanner. If you don't find, then I know that some stocks don't come up in screener. I don't know why, to be honest, but definitely yeah, it's coming now, and probably you should consider it. Okay, Matrimony, let's take a look at it. Matrimony is still good, right? Until it doesn't close below this zone, right? So until it doesn't close below 840. 840 is the zone that I'll be looking at. Until it doesn't close below 840, you can continue to hold if you're investing. But if you're looking at from positional trading perspective, definitely it's forming low high lows, low lows, and I think I would not consider this right now for positional trading, right? So because we've broken that swing low there, and we've kind of formed low high low lows. So 840 is my stop if you're looking at from investment perspective. Otherwise, it's totally fine. You can hold it. Okay, Surya Roshni and Jindal Worldwide. Yeah, this looks fantastic, right? So yeah, so here the swing low on the weekly is still not taken out. Now obviously it's from low high low lows, but here since the swing low is not taken out, it's still on the weekly chart, still just a short-term downtrend on the weekly charts. On daily charts, we've obviously formed low high low lows, right? So we formed low. This was previous lower high, low low compared to that, and we formed a new lower low here. So definitely this you can take a bet because it has not broken the previous swing low, which is this, right? That's the reason only I'm looking at it from a weekly perspective, right? So stop loss can be still 495. You can take a bet still here and look if it works out, or you can keep a stop loss 550 and take a bet. Looking at today's volume, probably it can do well going forward. Okay, Jindal Worldwide, let's take a look at this as well. Jindal Worldwide, yes, yeah, this is an excellent stock. So in spite of it seems to be trading in a different world, right? That's why I say always focus on your stocks, don't really lose your perspective. Continue to hold, the stop loss around 120, it can continue to do well going forward. But Sagar gives some of the best ideas. I think we should give a applause for him. Okay, next question. Naresh, hi Muru, is this a market for trend following? I feel it would be better to find pockets of 10-12 moves and get rid of them and look further. Yes, definitely, Naresh, I totally agree with that. In fact, I'm stuck with some of, I did enter Laurus Labs when it reversed, but I was kind of trend following, and I'm also realizing that it's not a market, to do really, trend following approach, probably due to the lesser position size. But book if you have a good position size of 25%, probably in a position size, then try to book a 50% once you get a 1:2 risk reward, but don't book it before 1:2 risk reward. Okay, that's very, very important, because if your win rate goes down below 50%, then you might not really make net to net, you'll not be profitable. So try to keep it around 1:2 and try to ensure that you have at least 50% accuracy. Or if you're keeping 1:3 risk reward, then probably you can have a lesser win rate as well. But definitely that's totally agree. I totally agree to that point, that you should be looking at booking at every 10 or 12% moves, or around risk reward of 1:3 or 1:2, 1:4, however you prefer. But yeah, that's a really good point that you made. TVZ stop loss hit, yes, it's out. Kumragiri, Heritage is exit or can bounce back? No, Heritage is exit, right? It is falling really bad. I think it has broken a swing low. For me, short term, definitely it looks bad. But if you're looking at weekly chart, even then, right, it has gone down below. It is kind of retesting that support zone. So if you have some patience, if you can hold on to this, then probably it can head higher again. But it depends on what is your loss that you're making, right? So a lot of people would be looking at the same stock, can we hold more or not? For me, once the weekly support is broken, then I'm totally out of a stock, no matter what. And especially this is a good weekly support zone. Ideally, you should have respected this and probably headed higher, but there's a major support zone here as well, right? So if you're willing to hold, but it depends on your stop loss, as I always say. At least you should not be holding it below today's low. Okay, at least try to exit it below today's low. If you want to still hold it, that's still fine. It's up to you. Okay, Tata Elxsi and Titan, let's take a look. Yeah, so Tata Elxsi also has broken this previous swing low, right? Now, if you see, this is the first time this is Tata Elxsi has broken a swing low, right? So definitely for me, again, from a position trading perspective, definitely it's worth exiting, and it's also broken a major trend line on the log charts, right? So, and on the weekly charts, if you still want, you can still hold it until 4,000 is taken out. So that's a major support zone around that 4,000 levels. Is a major support zone. Until that is taken out, you can still continue to hold. But I would prefer at least you book some profits at this point. And for position trading perspective, don't consider the stock until it makes new higher highs. Okay, that's my take. Titan, I think Titan is looking good. Yeah. Okay. So Titan, yeah, I'm sorry. Titan also doesn't look good from a position trading perspective or short-term swing trading perspective as well, because it is broken. So probably that's a retest of that zone, which is broken down. You might want to be careful. Some people might say it's a gap fill as well, but as I always say, wait for it to again break that trend line, and then you can probably enter it. But again, don't consider position trading. If you're holding, you can still hold it with today's low stop. If it goes below today's low, then probably exit. But if you're holding for investment, definitely Titan is a long-term investment. And until it doesn't go below 1600, I'm not really bothered, because that's the previous major support zone on weekly charts, right? Or even this one. Okay. Now, if you're holding from investment perspective, right? So try to not sell off the stock until CCI goes below -100 and relative strength goes below 52-week moving average. I've spoken about this multiple times, and you might want to consider that, and you might want to have a plan around what you would do, right? So I'll just show you that quickly, because I'm sure a lot of you have doubts. I'm sorry. Yeah, so relative strength comparison, it's there in one of my tweets about this. So I'm just going to hide this 10-day. So the blue line is 52 moving average, right? So relative strength. So until this doesn't go below the red line, and until CC doesn't go below -100, you don't have to really exit and stock like a Titan. Titan is a really good stock, so you can continue to hold it and accumulate once it comes towards the levels of 1700 or around those levels. Okay. The large caps will not really correct more than 20-30%, to be honest. If they do, then probably that's just a bad time going for that stock. But definitely these kind of companies are good. Okay, Barry is back, and let's take a look at Suzlon. Now, Suzlon around 8 is when I'm looking at the zone, right? And for me right now it doesn't really look good. It is kind of breaking down, and if it goes below 6.5, then I'm out if you're holding. But for me, the real level to buy is about 8.5 or even 9, right? To be safe, around 9.5. Until that is taken out, I would not really look at Suzlon. Okay, and there's no signs that is really breaking out. It's probably breaking down, and you should be really careful with your positions that you're having. Okay, 6.5 is my stop, and I think it is kind of losing its strength. That's a very solid trend line. I think it's broken down today, and it might head below 6.5, so just be careful. Okay, Matic. Okay, let's take a look at it quickly. But Matic, it needs to again. It's since we spoke about Matic in my video, I think we still not made a lower high, lower low, right? So we're still holding that swing low here. So until 1.27 is not crossed, I'd still probably consider Matic to head higher. But definitely this is just a one-way fall. It's probably and once it crosses over 1.93, 1.95, then probably it can head higher again. Okay, so that's on the 4-hour time frame. I'm not really sure if that's a breakout, because I don't see a breakout anywhere. The level that I would be watching out for is probably that zone, right? So, or probably even that zone. So that's when I would call it a breakout, or once it heads above 1.96 levels. Okay, so until then, for me, it's not a breakout yet. Gujarat Gas stop loss and pyramid. Yes, Gujarat Gas definitely looks good. It's one of the stocks that looks excellent in this fall, and I think it's time to have a pyramid plan at least above 675. Okay, so above 675, you can probably look at pyramiding Gujarat Gas. It's one of the good stocks in this weak market, which is looking good. Okay, so yeah, that's my take. Stop loss. So once you pyramid, then you can move your stop loss to 615. Okay, so that's if you have a 607, then it's a good stop loss 615, so that you have some more room to add, right? So that's my take. Okay, so a lot of questions today. Going one by one, I'm trying to cover everything. Sona BLW, Sonacom maybe, yes. Okay, so this still looks fantastic. I don't still see a problem here. On the linear charts, it definitely looks fantastic. Keep a stop loss around 580. It can probably hit higher again. It is looking strong and it has reversed probably from a trend line. Okay, IB real estate also looks good until the levels of 140 holds. I think still it can head higher. It's just a short-term correction, consolidation, and both look still, the structure is still good. No, I don't consider intrinsic value of the stock, Harish. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like intrinsic value of Paytm is literally 0, so that gives you answer. So I don't consider intrinsic value. Sahil Marksins, let's take a look at it. Yeah, this is a perfect downtrend, right? So that's the point you should have got out. Around 80 should have been the exit, right? And if your buying price is around 65, you say, probably, yeah, one last support zone is around 49. If 49 or 50 is taken out, then you should probably exit the stock. And that's the major weekly support zone as well, right? So this is why I say if a stock breaks a major weekly support zone, you might probably want to exit. So 49 is the level I'll watch out for. If it goes below 49, definitely I'll be exiting the stock. Okay, so that's my take. Yes, guys, please like the video. Satish, I've shared my portfolio of trade with Trendline stuff for the last many weeks. In fact, since July, I've been sharing my portfolio of trade with Trendline stuff. I hold around 5 to 10 stocks, not more than that. And I've tried to focus on a few stocks and I try to make money in those few stocks. I don't really go beyond 10, to be honest. Okay, can Power Grid be a good swing trade? And talking about, you know, the number of stocks, if you've read Mark Minervini, if you've read books like William O'Neill's, then you would know that these kind of stocks, these kind of people make money with really good allocations to a few stocks which do well, right? So Suman, Power Grid right now is not a good swing trade. Definitely, it looks like it has gone up and it's coming down again. So probably I look for a swing trade around when it comes to a channel around 180, 190 levels. Okay, not before that. Okay. What are your thoughts on day trading? Also, from experience with the 1 lakh capital, can you actually make much money? You can't make much money with 1 lakh capital. That definitely, my objective is not to teach how to make money. My objective is to teach you risk management. And if you have 1 lakh, definitely you can't make much money. You need to keep adding capital and you need to improve your trading. Definitely, okay. And I've lost money in intraday trading, day trading. So for me, it's not really my personality. So definitely not my cup of tea. So no comments on that, to be honest. Can Aravind Limited be considered as a pullback with stop loss today's low? Nishant Shende, yes. I think a lot of stocks can be considered as pullback trades. Just ensure that they're not fallen too much, right? So if you're looking at Aravind, definitely it looks like it is a good pullback trade because it has kind of reversed from that point. Definitely it's worth looking at with the stop loss today's low, 108 stop loss. Try and see if it works out because that's a good trendline support on the locked scale. Okay, so that's a good pullback trade probably. Barry, I'm not sure if I understood your question. Maybe you can just share a chart on Twitter, and I can also share my chart on how you look at it. We can discuss it on Twitter, maybe on DM. Okay. Ashwin Eco. I'm not sure what this company is. Eco. Okay, it's Eco. Okay. Yeah, the uptrend is still intact. So I think you can still continue to hold it with a stop around 66. It's still an uptrend. It's still not in a downtrend yet. Short term, definitely swing trade. It has broken a swing low, but if you're looking from an investment perspective, definitely it's considered. It can be considered worth holding unless 66 holds. Okay, so you can continue to hold that. Abhinav, I've exited Gravita. I've exited a lot of stocks. I've exited even Network. I've exited many stocks. So the last point for me is 188 is the last stop. So I've completely churned my portfolio and I've moved ahead. So if this breaks 188, which is the last zone, then 185, which is the last zone, then probably it can go down much further, right? But I did take a few trades last week. Network 18, I've exited Kaplan, I've exited a few other stocks as well. Okay, I don't really remember everything, but I exited a few stocks. Raja Pandian is asking about Hedgie Infra. So on the weekly charts, if you want to look at from investment perspective, which most of you do, I don't see major support. Okay, so to be honest, I don't see major support. It might correct a bit. It is falling continuously. So it has broken some key supports there on that zone. That was a major support, at least on daily charts. It has broken. So the next support is 490. If it goes below 490, definitely please exit. Or if you're already in deep loss, please exit. You'll get a better time to add the stock again. Okay, so now is not the right time to add the stock. Just Dial and Vibe Global. Just Dial, I've already shared my views, right? So I think that was the point of exit, right? 940. It is still going down and it's again made a new low today. So definitely not worth considering. I said that this might take some more time before it heads higher. So not in my radar, at least, please. So if you're holding, please exit. It's in a strong downtrend. There are many other stocks which you might find better bets. Viber Global has been an excellent downtrend. I think this is going the way of Aarti Drugs, going the way of Lotus Labs, which did. So again, as I said, long. I did post about the horizontal strategy, right? So if you did go and watch that, probably you might have found that this is probably a point to exit when it kind of had this breakdown in the 25th of October week, and that was the point you should have exited the stock and probably waited for some time before it again heads higher. But for me, definitely it's in a short term, probably in a medium term downtrend as well, and it might continue correcting for some more time. Okay, so not a stock to be in. Definitely, it has corrected almost 50% from top 1000 to 500, right? So if you're still holding the 50% correction, that's not how you invest or trade. Okay, Acrisil on Home First. Acrisil looks definitely good. Stop loss is 650. It's still in a higher low. As I said, a lot of stocks are there which you can still look at, which you can still take your bets. They might work out, but just ensure your risk is controlled. Home First also looking good, fantastic. It might also do well going forward, right? Keep a stop loss around 700 levels, can do well. Muthoot Finance and Asian Paints. I think even this. Okay, so I'm sorry, I had this one. So there's a major support around that point, so it is kind of reversing. So until it doesn't go below levels of 1400, I think you can still continue to hold. Muthoot Finance, definitely it had a breakout. It is base on base, so I think if it can hold on to this swing low this week, then definitely you can consider holding it. Or if you're looking from investment perspective, then major stop loss can be around 1060 levels, because decent company that as well. So that's my take. But definitely from a position trading perspective, I would not hold Muthoot yet. Sorry, you can hold probably, but keep a stop loss on 1400. Okay. So Asian Paints stop loss again here is 2861. That's a major support zone. It has already reversed and it is doing quite. It is quite strong compared to the overall markets. It has not. It is just going sideways, correcting, and it's formed also high lows. So I think it can still be a good bet. Even at this point, you can still add probably with a stop loss around 2850. Okay, Cipla looks good. Cipla, as I said, the pharma specs looks good, really, Pradeep. So Cipla, there's major, resistance around that zone, 990,000 levels. Once it takes 1,000, then it's going to see a really good run. The entire stop loss for Cipla can be around 860. Investment whatsoever, 860 should be a stop loss. Okay, long on Cipla, definitely good. Short. So if you're really holding, if you're doing F&O, I really urge that you really know what you're doing. You might get stuck in the wrong side of the trade, and you might just continue holding through your losses. So be careful. The short trade definitely here. It looks like it has reversed. It looks like it has reversed from a support zone here. So yeah, keep a stop loss. If you're short on this, then keep a stop loss around 2190. If you can afford so much of losses, right? Otherwise, even today's high can be a stop for the short trade. Okay. Minda Industries, Naresh, yeah, it was positive. One of the stocks which was in the positive today. I think it also looks good. It is close to that trendline support, right? Now, this is again a very good low pullback trade setup. So we saw already one Aravind, and this is the second one. So both can do well. Keep a stop here around 800 levels, and it can also head higher. Okay, a perfect trendline reversal. Okay, and a very low risk setup. MPS Shende, let's take a look at it. MPS looks good. I think until it holds 650 levels, I think it can still head higher. Yeah, but if it doesn't hold 650, then you might want to be out of this. Okay. SHIB USD. It is about to break out. It is about to break out, Barry, but it looks good for a breakout, right? So it can do well. I think today, if it's able to close above, 0.000, whatever that is, above 4243 levels, I think then it can really head higher. And stop loss is also pretty low. Not from crypto perspective, stop loss is pretty low, but definitely looks like it's breaking out. Okay. I think I've drawn the trend line, Barry. So you can draw this one, which connects the points. You can also draw this one, right? So this one as well. So I'd wait for it to close above 448 levels. If it can close above 48, or even if it crosses 48, I think I'm going to buy. Just place a buy stop order and it might get triggered. Okay, last stock that I'll take is National Aluminium. National Aluminium has broken a very key trend line. It is going down. It has broken some supports there. On 95 was a very good support. It's broken, and if it is not able to, probably last chance I'd give is 86 levels. So that's the last support zone I'd give for the stock. And if it's out of that, then I'd be out of the stock and probably look at it again later. Okay, but guys, remember, I think that's the last question I'll be taking. A lot of stocks are forming lower high, lower lows. So don't focus on those stocks if you really want to make money. If you're a positional trader, start focusing on stocks which are really, making higher lows, and that's where the money is. Okay, so in fact, I'll update the sheet of Trendline Investor, and the portfolio was up, at one point was up 6% today, but then it closed around 3% at the end of the day. But that's the reason why it went up so much, is because I focused on the stocks which did well on Friday, right? And I've completely shifted all the stocks, and I moved on to MOREPEN, THYROCARE, and PFIZER. And I posted on Twitter, and I did take those trades. I'll update the sheet, and I'll also start sharing, the trades from tomorrow. Okay, so that's it. I think I've shared all my views. So please stay safe in this market. It's very important to protect your money. It's your hard-earned money. I've seen a tweet from Harneet that person's money which was used for mother's surgery was put in markets, and that's not how to do it, guys. I really feel bad for people who are losing money in this market. I can't really help you. I'm trying to teach you as much as possible. It's your responsibility, and only you can protect your money. Please, please, please don't lose your money, especially if it's meant for something really important. Market is not going to give you good money hereafter, and you need to be really careful. And if you're losing, please exit markets and don't look at markets until you gain confidence again. Okay, or trade with a small money until you gain confidence again. Okay, or just keep joining me and see every day if you can join me and learn with me and improve. But if you're losing money, definitely it's time to stop losing money and focus on something like a job or some other thing, some other activities that you like to do. So I'll stop here. Take care, stay safe and trade safe, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to share the video with your friends, especially for people who are losing money. It will be a lot of help if you can share this video to them. And this is the times that I want to really support people and help you all to learn and not to lose money. Okay, thank you. Stay safe and take care.